Okay, guys, we are connecting to YouTube, so you'll see it up on the screen there, and then I'm going to connect to Facebook.
Word.
All right. That is good. Connecting to Facebook. All right, guys, the stream should be live, so you can save it at least, or share it, I mean, to all your various platforms. And anyone who might be joining us already, welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat. We'll be starting very soon. We got a great show today. We've got the transcendent Dennis Smith as a guest. There's nothing more transcendent than the name Dennis Smith. That's a headliner. I don't care where you go. And yeah, so we'll be starting very shortly here. I'm just going to do a sound check, but if you don't mind sharing the episode and helping us spread political discourse, we'd appreciate it. And as always, we invite you to comment below the episode, and your comments will be shown on screen, and they might even address them if they're not arguing too much. And I'm just connecting the chat, guys, 20 seconds. Okay, gents, the show is all yours.
Welcome to Black Republican, Black Democrat. I'll be your co-host tonight, Jamar.
And I'm your other co-host, AK Kamar. How you doing, bro?
Well, I'm all right, man. I can't complain. And if who the hell gonna listen? We ain't got but an hour.
I mean, anyone that listens to the podcast, I guess, will listen to our complaints today.
True enough. Make sure right now, at this moment, while you're listening to me, put pitch in my voice. I'm not yelling because, you know, they always think black folks are yelling when you put pitch in your voice. That's just how we talk. Make sure you're liking and sharing the show right now at this very moment. So I'm gonna pause for 1 minute. No, actually 30 seconds.
After you hit that like and share button, please make sure to visit our Linktree. Linktree is where you can connect with all of our social media in one spot. Not only can you figure out how to, buy us a drink, there's a little button that says tip us.
True.
Those come 100% to us, but
yes.
Also consider becoming a contributor to our show. By signing up at our Linktree, you will be able to actually contribute to our political discourse, help keep this discourse alive. Whether you're going to become a $300 a month contributor or a $25 a month contributor, 100% of those proceeds go to this show. None of it goes to my or Jamar's pocket. So please do consider doing that. Also connect with all of our other socials, our TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, so you can interact with us and have good conversations. Please do that. And also, when you're done with that,
What?
Again, hit that like button on the stream.
You would do
and
that.
hit that share button so your friends and family can see what it is that you're getting into.
Yeah, they can see these two black men yelling at each other and then passionately going at it. And then afterwards, which y'all can see too, we should have a MTV show. You know, what's the name of the show they used to follow you around? I remember a long time ago.
Punked?
No. The when they would, follow the person around on a date. I can't think of the name of the damn show. Okay, I'm old. But I remember talking to Jason Lewis one time, and him describing Mitt Romney during the 2012 election. Or was it 08 he ran against Obama? 08, wasn't it?
08 and
Yes.
2012, yeah.
Well, no, we killed McCain in 12.
Yeah.
And so Jason was describing how cool and nice Mitt Romney was. I said, I don't give a damn. If I wanted to know how nice he was, I'd follow him around like an MTV series, damn it. I don't care. So because of that, I'm quite fond of the MTV show and people that are on TV. Are you on TV?
Like when? Like in general?
No.
What you mean?
I just thought maybe you're on TV. You're all over the place. You're on the radio a lot.
I am on the radio a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be you when I grew up.
Is that what you want to be?
You might be on MCN6, guys.
Hey, that's
Yes.
true. MCN6,
Yes.
MCN6. That's right. I think on Fridays or something like that. Every once in a while.
Saturdays.
Saturday.
I think Saturday at 4:00.
Now,
It used to be.
as you're trying to figure out where we're appearing on TV or radio, and you're thirsty, and you live in the Minneapolis area, where should you go, man?
I think the Weber Mart.
The what?
The Weber Mart.
Why you want to go to the Weber Mart, man?
Well, you know, it's a one-stop shop. You'd want to go there and get some postage, some potato chips, and some anything with a P.
Anything with a P.
Yeah, you know. Anything with a P. The Weber Mart.
And you did say that they do participate in the new Delta 9 products, right?
Absolutely, he
Yeah.
does. Yes, he does absolutely sell those two safely, you know, because they're in Minneapolis, so they have his tobacco store that's separated.
Yep.
So he absolutely enjoys that. So if you want to enjoy some Delta 9, Delta 8, and Delta anything.
And
my,
CBD?
My uncle used to drive a Delta, so Delta 88, if you know, go to the Weber Mart.
Go to Weber Mart.
Weber Mart.
And we also have a new sponsor, Dennis Smith. But today, that sponsor is actually in studio with us. Now, Dennis came on our show. He was a great guest. And he really loved what it was that we did. You know, having this disagreement that Jamar is a steadfast Democrat, I'm a steadfast Republican, but we're able to shake hands, knuck it up, and still be able to walk away as friends. So Dennis saw what it was that we were doing, and he said, I want to support that. So Dennis, he has joined our show. We want to make sure to send you to his website, dennis@smithlawmn.com. Whether you're looking at a will, last will and testament, trying to figure out what to do when it comes to starting a business, Dennis is the guy that can help you. Not only is he going to be able to help you figure out end-of-life issues and doing things to get your business started, he's also a person that supports what it is that we do. So if you watch the show and you like what it is that we do, please visit Dennis.
So let's do something different.
Yeah.
How about, we've never done this before. Let's bring the guest on right now. Let's have him be a part of the whole damn show, topics and all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, Dennis Smith.
How you doing, Dennis?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure.
So, tell me a little bit about what you do in your practice, man.
Yeah, so you summarized it really well. It was a well-written little commercial spot. We help families plan for the next step. We help them make sure that their will is in order, a trust if they want one, a healthcare directive, often overlooked, but the most important document of all. Because at the end of the day, you're not taking any money with you, but you want to make sure that your last days on earth are the way that you want them to be. It's your
Saddam
choice.
Hussein did. Oh.
Well, that's similar but different, but yes. And HIPAA releases, but then also on the business side, we have so many entrepreneurs in Minnesota, and they don't know where to first start about how to start a business. And that's something that I specialize in, is helping people start their business, getting set up the right way, helping them get going, and being part of the Minnesota business community.
And I know someone personally that you have started a small business up, and they are eternally grateful and very happy. So Dennis does a great job. Now, there's a difference between, I heard you say will and trust. So now, normally, I always thought they were the same. They're not?
They're not the same. No.
Okay. Can you explain the difference?
Yeah, they serve a different purpose. So,
Okay.
A will is a guide for what you want done with your property upon your passing once you go into probate court. So a will sends you to probate court, and then a trust allows you to avoid probate court. But you still give a direction as to where you want all of your assets to go and who's in charge. But it's set up where you don't have to go to our court system in order to have those assets distributed.
So does normally a person have both? Because like when I think of will and trust, I remember Prince dying, and he had neither. So and Michael Jackson did. So Michael Jackson had a trust. He didn't have a will. Okay. If Jamar, just plain old Jamar, I have a will. I don't. But if I had a will, and I didn't have a trust, and I die, what happens?
If you have certain assets over a certain dollar amount or types of assets, then your estate goes to probate. Like
All
Prince's
mandatory, always legally, doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I die. I've got a house. I've got a car. And I've got a couple $100,000 in the bank.
Yep.
So now I have to go to court, but because I thought in a will I leave it to my 4 kids. That is not how it goes.
It just helps direct it. So I'm gonna just jump in just real quick. Rachel said, Jamar, you're the one that always yells. So there's that. But also on top of that, I was an insurance agent for a bunch of years, and the thing that is so important to explain is that, and I'm not giving you legalese, I'm not giving you legal advice, but a will just tells the court this is what you want to have happen, and the court is the probate system. Versus a trust is an agreement between you and another party that says, here's what I want to have happen, so it doesn't have to go through the courts because that agreement's already done and said. So will's great to have because it tells the court what they should do with stuff, but it still has to go through that whole process.
So then that's my next question. Then if I don't have a will, I have a trust instead. I still got the house, $200,000 and a car. The difference now is I don't go to court. I leave this to my kids.
Well, you don't go to court because you're dead, but...
Well, yeah, well,
but
hey, they stood James Brown and Michael Jackson up for months. What do you mean I can't go to court? Sure you can.
Yeah, but your estate doesn't go to court.
Okay.
And then your assets go directly to the heirs, the people you leave them to directly. You get to avoid all the cost of going to court because it's super expensive.
Super expensive.
And also it's public. Everything in the court system is a public record. Whereas if you have a trust, everything remains
You get
private.
to keep that
So it's best to
between you
have.
and your
Sounds like
peeps,
it's
man.
best to have a trust and not a will. We always think, will is so old school. It's best to have a trust instead, because who the hell wants to go through court?
Well, I think it depends on your situation, and that's why you should hit up Dennis, because every single person is
Great
going to have a
plug.
different situation. Sometimes a trust may not make any sense because maybe you don't have enough assets, and there's a lot of different ways that trust can be set up: revocable, irrevocable, all these different terms. Dennis will be able to help you out with all that. So if it's just something you're thinking about, hit up my man Dennis. And Dennis, now I know that you have a phone number. What's the best number that people can reach you at?
Yeah, 612-889-3971.
The
And
number is again?
You'll take that phone call basically
24/7.
Okay,
And what's the
man.
number again?
612-889-3971.
Does that prevent me, if I have a will or trust, I can still be sued by another party? Let's say, I have that trust and then I was in an accident. Well, yeah, with another party, and I injured that party, and now I die. I have money, and that party sues me. They can legally sue, obviously, but does that then go into probate because of that, or I want to know
That's a
these
complex
things.
legal question. It would depend on your situation.
It does depend on the situation, but the short answer is that you still could be sued, and those assets are not protected.
They're not.
They're not. A revocable trust, which is 99% of the trusts that are created, the kind we're talking about, the legal protections are not there for if you do something wrong, and bankruptcy, paying taxes, all of those issues are still as if you didn't have the trust. It is for ease of management upon your passing, when you become incapacitated, but then also at the end of your life as well.
Word. Make sure you hit up Dennis for those questions. I mean, those complicated questions that we can't answer. 612-889-3971. 612-889-3971.
Now, the reason that we definitely want to have Dennis on the show is that as a sponsor, because of his sponsorship level, he gets to come on once a month. And so if you yourself are watching this and you're like, I would love to be able to come on.
Cuss
and,
me out.
Whatever,
know?
mix it up. Maybe you want to cuss me out.
Next segment, we're going to do that.
That's something
Yes,
I always
for
consider.
sure.
But on top of that, Dennis, you're a very interesting person to me because of the experience that you've had. So as we start jumping into some of these topics, I just would love to hear your perspective as we're having these conversations. And, someone that is a former legislator, right? Your state house,
Two-time, right?
Yeah.
Two-time.
And I think you have a lot of insight. And plus, we run in semi-similar political circles. So, yeah, man.
you like hip-hop, too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, because Dennis is a cool dude. Dennis, so you're here, and you recently suspended your campaign for AG. Why'd you do so?
Yeah, so the campaign went on for a year, and when I initially started the race, jumped in June 2nd of 2021, I knew that Keith Ellison needed to be beat, that he was not the right match for Minnesota. He wasn't what we needed. At the time, I didn't see anyone in the race that could beat him, so I got into the race, and we worked hard. We went to 83 counties. We raised $1.2 million. We had a PAC set up for us. We had a great campaign, and I was expecting there to be a vibrant primary. And the state convention rolled out the way that it did, where the party all got behind 4 candidates for auditor, secretary of state, AG, and governor. And it was a time for party unity and a time to come together, and so that we could, beat the people that we think we need to right, Minnesota for this fall. So it was for party unity, and I'm happy with who the state party endorsed in the attorney general race. So I was, it's sad to do. I visited 83 counties. 50,000 miles in my car.
Oh, wow.
And it was a lot. My life was basically put on hold. But we stepped aside and we're helping out people helping out people in a variety of ways this coming election in a variety of different ways. We're raising money. We're hosting events. We started a PAC. We're doing all these different things. And we're going to, live to fight another day.
One of the things that you said to me, I was like, oh, you're coming from work. You were volunteering for the community, doing a service that truly just gives back to the community in regards to like legal service for people that are poor. And I think the reason that I even bring it up, you're not the type of guy, I can already tell, that wants to broadcast like whenever you do anything philanthropic or charity wise. But I think that says a lot about the measure of a person when someone, especially, you're not running for anything right now. You're Dennis the dude, but you still find it important to go out there. And I do the same thing. I've been a member of the Lions Club, and I think that having that heart for people and then donating your time and energy and sometimes money is always cool. So I just wanted to say, man, like that's just hit my heart when you told me that.
What did you do tonight? What'd you do? What's AK talking about?
Yeah, I ran the legal team. We set up free legal service for the homeless at St. Paul and the Dorothy Day Center. It's a great system where they come in, they get their feet washed, they get their feet examined by a doctor, they get fitted into a brand new pair of shoes that are appropriate for all the measurements and specifics of their feet. There's a center where they can get vaccinated, they can talk to a doctor, and also there's a legal section as well if anyone has any legal questions.
Why would they have any legal situations going on? What do you mean?
Well, our laws in Minnesota are too complicated, and everyone has legal issues, whether you have a home or not. And so the legal questions that we received today were very similar to the legal issues that we hear about from our clients and people that call our office all the time. Mm-hmm. So providing the free legal service for that, I've been involved with it for 12 years. And it's a great way to make sure that everyone is afforded our legal system. So
that's exactly why I like you. That's exactly why I like you. So okay, you suspended your campaign. You've kind of said what's next for you, but what's next for you then? I mean, you've started the PAC and so on and so forth. But is that what's next for you?
Yeah, well, short term, yes. This fall, we started a PAC. We're helping candidates. Caroline and I were out door knocking a couple of weeks ago. We're door knocking a lot. We're doing all these different things for a variety of candidates.
All Republican?
No.
No.
They're not. No. And
that's how I like this guy. Damn.
And then so that's short term, and then long term, we're keeping an eye on things, and we're going to do a wait and see approach.
Would you run again?
Yes,
you would.
Yeah.
If the candidacy, if the position is right, what is it? Whatever.
Yeah,
it just depends on
Yeah, I guess But yeah, I mean, like AG is that's obviously at the door. That won't happen for another 4 years. Governor either, but like what? Would you run for Senate again? Or excuse me, you weren't senator. Would you run for Senate? Would you run for the House again?
Those are possibilities. Congress, statewide offices.
You can run for Fed. Really?
Sure. Yeah, that's on the list of.
I'd be on your team. Damn it. I sure would. I met some great awesome, people man. Since I've known Dennis, and so let me throw kudos and shout out to former co-host of this show, Laverne Turner, who I've known for 5 years now. And he's a part of my Republican circle. And I've met a lot of people knowing him. And I happened to meet Dennis, who, in fact, it was him that insisted I meet Dennis. I had no inkling of meeting Dennis. And Laverne called me. He's like, no, you got to come just do. You had the event at the pizza place, which we won't say. He had an event at the pizza place. He was like, you got to come. I'm like, are they serving food? You know me. Are they serving? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm on my way. So I got there, and Dennis came across the crowd and spoke to me. And like you normally do, his retail politics skills is pretty good. And he came and introduced himself. And I remember us finding a table, and we sat and talked until the whole damn thing was over.
Oh, for real? That's
Yeah,
cool.
until the whole thing was over. Literally, seriously. He and I call her Tenderoni, but Caroline and I, we just sat the whole time, and he introduced me to his whole team, and we became fast friends ever since. So he's a great straight dude.
dope.
I'll shut up enough about me. You and I. So in trying to figure out what you'll do, there's a lot of issues that face Minnesota, right? And so I have to say, number one, that already Dennis has already come back to the communities and reached out and sorts of different sorts of ways, especially the black community, because that's what I really give a shit about. And so, how do you think that you can continue those things? Especially when I mean in the black community. I mean, there's such a great need for help. Is there something you think that you could help in any kind of way there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that staying present. That no one likes a political person that comes around in September looking for votes every other year, every 4 years. And that's not the type of person that I am. And so I'm staying present in the communities that I worked with during my campaign. And we're going to continue to help in a variety of different ways. But being present and really showing that you have a genuine care and concern and helping to rebuild that broken trust. My campaign, I talked about trust from the opening line of my campaign. Of every single speech was about how we lost trust in our government and institutions and the media and even some with each other. So we need to repair that regardless what happens this election. Long term, we need to repair that, but you need to be present in order for that to happen. You need to go to communities, you need to be a part of them, and you need to listen. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
I remember that when you rode down on the elevator, you and Tenderoni, and I was just thinking,
Elevator, like very Trumpian, or I just can't.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Escalator.
I don't remember that.
Escalator. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of wrong guy. Now, hot topics. Let's get your because you are an incredibly smart dude. You might be a lawyer. Are you a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
Sound like a
play
lawyer.
one on TV.
Yeah, you might play one on TV. I do every morning. So let's get into some topics.
Yeah. So after our show was done last week, I remember I caught something on Twitter or something like that there was a standoff later that night. Because like I'm a night owl, man. I stay up till usually like 1:30, 2 in the morning, even when I get up at 7 a.m. because I'm weird like that. And I remember some stuff coming across, and so it ended up being that a gentleman had holed himself up in his apartment. There was a standoff for about 6 or so-ish hours, and his name was Tekle Sundberg. And at the end of that, he was shot and killed by 2 Minneapolis police from the SWAT team with a sniper rifle. And so from that point, just like we always talk about, my perspective is I want to see what the information is like. What are the police going to come out with? And I know that the community wanted to have a quicker response, and it just seems like it takes sometimes so long to get information. I get you got to process stuff and all that stuff, but today they released the body cam worn footage, and from that, I think that it helped for me paint kind of like a bigger picture. So here's what I want to kind of discuss is like, number one, Jamar, have you seen the body?
I have not.
Body cam worn footage. And then 2, I guess, how do you feel about the response? Do you feel that this was a better response than Amir Locke? Or?
Listen, I'm always looking, have one eyebrow raised when police engage in ending the life of someone, rightfully so. Because we don't know if it's malicious or what it is that goes on, right? I've been into it with a lot of conservatives about this item. In fact, Walter Hudson, which we're going to have to get his butt on the show. Excuse me, Mr. Hudson. What's annoyed me is, like, from his Facebook post, they've sided with the young lady who lived in the other apartment next to him, who was obviously under duress, there was bullets going through her apartment. And I absolutely feel for that. Come on, bro. We know. I in the last 4 years, I responded to 58 homicides. So, of course, right? But like I was telling to watching them, his post was, he was shaming the family and friends who had raised money for him. And I said, that's disgusting. They have a right to do that.
Yeah.
Their family, they love the guy. whom they had been asking for some mental help for the young man and didn't receive. That's what I'm saying about the damn county. They've been asking for help. Well, we don't know what all into it. Anyway, they had been asking help for him. He didn't receive it. And so watching him was, again, shaming the family and friends because they had raised money for him. Like, bro, that is quite disgusting. You didn't say anything. Walter didn't say anything when they did that for Kim Potter, but he found fault in this family raising money for this guy.
So here's kind of the way that I saw it. You know, when the story broke that Black Lives Matter was out protesting in front of the apartment where Tekle was killed, the woman came out, and this woman, as we found out today, if you watch the body, what is it? Is it body worn? Is it?
Yes.
It's like weird body worn camera or whatever.
Yes.
So you see that open apartment door in that picture, okay? That's where the woman lived, and do you see the door right to the left of her?
Yes.
I mean, to the left of the cop.
Yes.
That's where Tekle was. Okay. You see all those shell casings on the ground?
Those are from him.
Those are from him.
Yes.
And so the footage shows a pretty chaotic scene, but that woman, okay, if you look at her door, right, there's some bullet holes
you can see clearly.
Right?
Absolutely.
So basically, this woman in the footage, she comes out. The cops are like, "Get out here right now!" And she, at that point, she's like, "I gotta come," but her kids were still in there, right? So then the cops come through, and right as the cops are coming through, you hear another gunshot. So the woman's like, "Where's my kids?" And then the little two kids, man, there's little, like one's in a diaper, the other one's probably like, 2, one's maybe 3 or something like that. They come out and they're like, get over here. So now from that point until when Tekle was killed was like 5.5 hours. So like some people maybe think like, oh, he must have died like right after it. No, like after all of this, they pulled back from everything. But here's the thing: when it comes to what people were hitting the family for, like me and you've talked about this. Life is precious to me, and I think that even if I think, based off of what I've seen so far, MPD had a justified shooting, that's still a human life that belonged to someone. Like, so this young gentleman obviously is very troubled, right? He's definitely having some type of mental health crisis for him to just be going buck wild like this. His parents are white. They adopted him. I thought it was kind of interesting. So, of course, people are going to raise money for that. The only thing that I didn't like is that when I watched the video of, this mother's traumatized, right? Because, again, when you watch this, dude, she's like, I almost, like, this is her perspective, right? And she sees all these people, and so her perspective is like, they think he's like this innocent person, and I think she had a little bit of a disconnect, right? So she goes out there, she vents her frustration. My problem is that
rightfully so.
The mom and dad for Tekle, they were like, we're sorry this happened, right? But then there was jackasses in the crowd that were like, shut up, at least you're alive, and like stuff like that. So that's kind of what happened. And you know what's crazy is after this story got released about the difference in fundraising, because like the GoFundMes, then her GoFundMe blew up. Like when I looked yesterday, her GoFundMe was up to like $70,000. Wow. So again, I'm not trying to harsh on anybody. Good for her. I know that she's probably suffering with a lot of, mental stuff because she's like, I almost died and everything like that. But at the end of the day, I think that the way that the right kind of hit out on the GoFundMe stuff, I thought it was a little bit preposterous. Do you got any thoughts on this, Dennis?
Yeah, I think that's what this shows. When you look at all the different, I hadn't seen the footage, but I read a summary of the footage from today, and it shows that the police gave an appropriate amount of time, over 5 hours, in a high density housing. Very, there's could be a lot of people could get hurt in that situation. Very different from the little bit greater Minnesota situation where it lasted
in
for
St.
much
Michael
longer.
or whatever.
In St. Michael, right, where the person was isolated.
Like a day and a half or something?
Like a day and a half,
it was a long
right.
time.
Yeah, and while that person was shot as well, it does show how important human life is, including victims. And that's the part that I think we're missing as a society is the impact that, the struggles that this person went on. We need to continue to break down the stigma of mental health.
Absolutely.
We need to spend more time on that as a society. We all know that if I had a broken arm, I would run to the doctor, but if I have an issue that is in my mind that, someone doesn't fault you for going to the doctor for the broken arm, but there are comments and there's this stigma in society about what would happen for mental health. It doesn't
Especially
need
for
to
our
be that
people,
way.
especially for black folks.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be that way.
Well,
so we need to work on that, but also these victims that are, that poor woman and what she went through, bullets coming through, into her home. We don't need to live like that as a society.
Absolutely
We
not.
shouldn't, and we need to keep doing everything we can. It's a multiple tentative problem. We need to be doing a lot of different things to fix it.
You know, one of the things too that I want your opinion on. So I get Black Lives Matter. Their thing is either white people killing black people, but the main thing is when cops kill black people, and I get that. But like, do you think that Black Lives Matter in this specific case, kind of knowing this, like, do you think that maybe they jumped the gun on going out there and protesting?
No, I'm glad that they did, and I told you I learned a while back what the purpose is. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. So I'm not going to ask the question anymore of which Black Lives Matter because I know what their intent are. Right?
Sure.
It's to highlight these type of tragic events. Right? When the police is when there's an OIC. Is that the acronym? Officer involved, OIS or whatever the hell it is. Okay, I'm trying to be hip.
Officer involved with shooting? Yeah.
Yes. And so, look, you're right. You said the great thing was no one should, I mean, you live there. No one expects that. No one should have to go through that. You know, for once, let's quote Donald Trump, there are victims that are good and good on both sides, right? Good and bad on both sides. Because, you know, she had her kids in there. And she and her kids could have lost their life. So again, when I was arguing on Facebook with Walter and those people, what was pissing me off is to hear white folks now speak for black folks. Excuse me? I don't know. I've only been black 44 years. I mean, you know, duh. But again, I honestly didn't know that his parents. I knew he was adopted, but I didn't know they were white. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
And
They're
so
like this old sweet white couple, and you know, I don't know any of the background, but anybody that adopts a child,
they gotta be. They
already
they get
like,
wings.
You're a high,
they definitely
you're a
get
high
wings.
level to me.
Absolutely, no, absolutely, because you don't have to. No doubt about that. So I just think that let's temper things down. Let's you know everybody cool off, and you know let's pray for her and this family. You know, again, he has a right to be buried.
Oh, of course,
Respectfully,
yeah, no,
peacefully,
yeah.
they have a right to raise money for his
Absolutely.
expenses. The average funeral is about $10,000. That's just for coffin and them digging in the ground. That's not their headstone and so on and so forth. It's speaking of end of life. And then speaking of end of life, if you don't have those things, he's what, 21, 24, I think he was?
He was young, yeah. I don't know his exact
Right?
age. Like I think there's a part, and Rachel does bring this up too, that the parents had went to, like, they called the parents to the place.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, like, he wasn't wanting to get on the phone with them because he's suffering this mental health crisis. And the parents, I get it. Listen, if my child got killed, regardless of what my child did, I especially at the beginning, within the first like at least week or two, when you're grieving, you're not gonna to probably entertain anything negative about anything that's said. So I don't expect to hear anything different from the parents. But the parents are like, they should have let us go in there. Now, if you're cops, you can't let them go in there because what if they die? And then everyone's like, how dare you let them go in? Now, the parents wanted to go in. They're like, we can talk our son down.
Yes.
But from a law enforcement perspective, you probably see people kill their parents all the time.
Yeah, but you know what?
You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta no. But here's the thing: after 5 hours, you didn't want to kill him, so let's give the police that credit that they tried to work on that. Two things. Let me say this quickly. This is why myself and you, well, especially me, but you too, were. Didn't want to end the police last year, number one. And we were stressing and pressing to have mental health responses with these officers, right?
Yeah.
And that has yet to be fully implemented. That has to be ASAP. You have to do that because maybe that's a part of the tool is saying, okay, let's get Jamar's mom on the phone, or let's get Jamar's son on the phone. Because like speaking of Jamar, when he was in school and he would act up, they would call me and I would say, boy, I'm gonna beat your ass. No, I'm sorry, I didn't say but I would talk to him, right?
Yeah.
And I could calm him down, get him from here to here, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe that's a tool if we get these mental health experts along with the police officers. And this is a Minneapolis city council that I think will do that. We'll give them the full funding for that. It needs to happen now so we don't run into these
things.
things.
That change around. I actually want to ask you a question, like hypothetically. Now, obviously, in this case, Keith Ellison, from my knowledge, hasn't said anything about this. But if, we fast forward to this, jump to when the CERN Large Hadron Collider turned on, everyone said, people, not everyone, some conspiracy people believe that we shift timelines. So let's say we shifted the timeline and you are now AG. If this was a case that came before you, would you make a statement on it if there was a large push from the community to for the state to get involved to look into something?
Well, it's important to remember that an attorney general can only get involved in a case of this matter if the county attorney asks for help.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So and that was some of the controversy that happened in some of the last cases the last couple of years. Some of the highlights.
He was asked both times, though.
Well, second time, maybe. I mean,
No, he was asked both times now.
Well, I think if you look at the complete record, there's some dispute there. That's
But
not-
Freeman does publicly say that he asked for involvement from the AG.
When did he say that, though?
I'll show you the article.
Yeah, no, the date.
Afterwards, is he CYA in for him?
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Shit,
It
But
does
yeah,
matter, Jamar. Yeah.
So typically they have to ask, or not typically, but that's the process. It's supposed
Exactly,
to be.
right. Yes. And there's an important role for that for the attorney general, because often the county attorneys don't have the proper expertise. They don't have the resources in the office. The case is just larger than what their office should have. So it's very proper, in some cases. In regard to making statements to the press, I think the judicial process is meant to go slow and be deliberate. And I wish the people involved in the process would respect that more.
Word. Yeah.
Damn,
it
you
should
just
be, right? Because
summed it up.
like I think sometimes people have this idea of like the wheels of justice need to spin quickly.
Well,
like
because we're
quicker is
impatient.
not better.
Well, but when you're black and brown and you've experienced the type of experience that we've had in the legal system, you do want the wheels of justice to go fast, because you're already expecting not to get the type of outcome that you're going to get. So we're like, get this shit over with. You're going to convict me. Let's go. And that's sad, but often true. But look, with the new cast of characters that are running in Hennepin County, let's see that change. We don't have a new attorney general, unfortunately, but because the other guy that's running for him, he doesn't stand a rat's ass chance in beating Keith.
I
he does not.
I think Keith is scared, and the reason
What?
Now,
Get
check
my
this out,
sound
check
ready,
this out,
please.
Check this out. So with so there was a lawsuit in which a group, I can't remember what the name of the group is, but they basically are suing the state of Minnesota over an abortion law that was signed by the legislature, right? And a judge, I don't know what level, but a judge said, yeah, we agree with you, and basically overturned certain things. Like there's not a 24-hour waiting period, I don't believe. There's a few other things that got overturned. Now, technically, Keith Ellison, as Attorney General, is supposed to defend the current state law. And the current state law, that was something that, again, was signed by the House, Senate, and signed by the governor in regards to these abortion restrictions. And Keith Ellison has kind of been like, I don't really know. So he's been... The reason to me, that's
you saying he picks and chooses not Keith?
No. I'm saying that I think it's
Not
an indicator that he's not 100%. Whereas, like, Walz, he's all in. Walz is like, we are not going to appeal this decision, but it's not my decision. It's up to,
AG.
At the end of the day.
And he has 60 days to make that decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you heard that when the hesitation in his voice was more of, I'm not fully briefed on this case yet. I shouldn't be commenting on it publicly, because that was like day 2 when it came out.
Sure.
He's got about 52 more days or so to make a decision. So I think he probably won't surprise us about what he does, especially if the governor's asking for him.
So
The right thing to do is to
I just feel
support a woman's right to choose. That's the right thing to do.
But I just feel like this would be a thing that if he felt real confident, he would.
He
have been
does. I mean, dude, it's not
Timmy
his
would have
job.
called him up and said, "Hey, Keith, come on, man," and he would have been like, "I agree. Yeah, we're not pursuing this appeal."
Another point about this, in a little bit broader perspective, is we need to have some different thinking in our state government. We need to have some different perspectives. There should be sometimes the Attorney General should not always agree with the governor. Our state government would be better off if that were the case.
Now,
That's true.
every time I think about what's the guy's name? Schultz, that's running
Jim.
against Jim Schultz. Every time I think of
Scholes.
whatever the hell his name is, so Schultz, somebody.
Or Doug Wardlow. Doug Wardlow's also running.
Every time I think of Wardlow, Schultz, and any of those guys beating Keith Ellison, the thought that comes to mind is,
Man, Jenga's gonna kill that boy.
he's gonna kill that boy.
That's ridiculous.
He's gonna kill those guys.
So speaking of killing people in elections, there's an interesting thing that happened the other day. Not interesting to me really, because me and you had a previous episode had talked about this, but in the House, with Roe v. Wade obviously being overturned and sent back to the states, there's been kind of this boogeyman that if gay marriage Obergefell, I think that's how you pronounce the name, goes to the Supreme Court, that they would basically overturn that ruling and send gay marriage back to the states. And so one of the things that Democrats, I think, are using as a political wedge, which makes sense because that's what we would do if it was the opposite way, is saying, like, we need to codify,
Gay marriage, abortion,
and also gay marriage. So they drafted this bill. Well, to the surprise of not very many people, 47 House Republicans voted for the bill to pass it. And here's some of the people.
Yeah, log cabin Republicans.
Elise Stefanik, Tom Emmer, okay?
Tom Emmer.
House Freedom Caucus, Scott Perry, and also McCarthy. So that's a lot, man. 47, it's like 23%. And then on a side note, Angie Craig tweeted out, and I replied at a tweet. She didn't hit me back because I'm
of course not.
She will tonight, though.
Right.
She said, I am shocked. 77% of my Republican colleagues don't believe that I should exist. I'm like, you're shocked? 47 Republicans voted for this. Like, that's.
But wait a minute.
But
she's not wrong, though, bro. Again, excuse me?
10 years ago, it would be 1%. That's a huge
I love how you think that your party is so pro-gay marriage. They are not. Why do you fool yourself into thinking that?
They've become that way. And there's just no going back, dude. There's no going back.
What do you be? Pass me what you're smoking, because I love the chronic. Because what you're smoking is way heavier than what I normally go through. Because I don't ever see a part. And first of all, when is any of those guys that you just named, well, then why don't they come out public for it then?
So
I think they did today when they voted for it.
No.
Yeah, they did. So
just because the vote goes public, no, you have a bullpit, you have a camera, and they seem to find it all the time. And the other reason they seem to, especially McCarthy, he seems to find it, but instead he just votes for, oh yes, so he could say, yes, I voted for it.
What about Rick Grinnell?
Listen, what about any of them coming out publicly, speaking public about it? That's how you kill Democrats. That's how you kill the Democrat argument, and that's how you can run against a pro-choice or a pro-gay rights Democrat, because you can say, guess what? I support it too. Now next, Republicans don't know how to kill the argument.
This isn't real. You believe this is just for political points?
Is a $0 bill real? Okay.
No, but I'm serious. Like, you don't think that some of these people have shifted their position?
Listen, I hope that they've evolved. I mean, President Obama did. Remember he wasn't for gay marriage, and he came in and.
But Donald Trump was for gay marriage before he even came in office. And like I said, Rick Grinnell, I keep on saying this. He's the first openly gay cabinet member.
So then, of course, he's for it.
Right. No.
You had me thinking, I don't know who the guy is. You had me thinking like these are some hard Republican. Well, he's gay.
Yeah. But that's who Trump appointed, man. So like I find it.
I do think he's a racist and a bigot, but I don't think he's such a homophobe.
Okay, so he's not anti-gay though.
It's not too anti-gay.
From your perspective, is that surprising or shocking to you?
Do you know any of these people?
I do.
Okay.
I do know some of them, and I was happy to see how the vote turned out.
Sure.
I wish more would have voted for it.
Absolutely, me too.
And that's the direction the country needs to go. And we need to, I think I think it's smart legislatively to codify that. And I bet there's a lot of people that worked in Congress or still work there that they were thinking maybe they should have done that about Roe v. Wade as well.
Yeah. No,
listen,
sure.
let's do that. Let's codify it all, right? And here again, he and I have a stake, but we've been saying this for weeks. I guarantee you, before 2024, before the next election, some Republican, after I heard what Ted Cruz said the other day, some Republican is going to sue a gay minister for marrying and to purposefully trigger some law to make sure that the Supreme Court hears this and gay marriage will be overturned. Because you guys think
that's never going to happen.
Yes, it is. You thought Roe v. Wade wasn't. You wanted it to happen, but you thought it wasn't going to be overturned either. Who thought it was? Did you really think it was?
I did.
Oh,
I said if it goes before this court, for sure.
So will gay marriage.
So Kimberly, thank you for the comment. She's been watching this show nonstop and interacting. Love it. Explain why the 77% voted against it. So in my tweet,
because they are homophobic haters.
No. So in my tweet, I explained. Wow, shocking that the party that has a majority of the members as Christian conservatives would be against.
If you're Christian,
codifying gay marriage.
You don't hate in the Bible. There's no hate. You don't supposed to hate. You're supposed to forgive. You're supposed to love one another.
You don't have to agree with my position, but I'm going to explain.
I don't.
You can be 100% not, if you want to say, a bigot or a homophobe, and still believe that marriage in its traditional sense, should be defined between one man and one woman because of your religious beliefs. It doesn't mean that you hate gay people. It doesn't mean that you think that gay people deserve a lesser life. It's that you might believe that. And that is fundamentally what there is a large percentage of people that still believe. Now, Christian conservatives that have that belief system, the party is growing so large that they're no longer part of that. I mean, they're no longer this overwhelming majority. There's still obviously a plurality.
Where is this at?
Man, you go to, so I'm in the Young Republican.
What, Utah?
I still got 2 years left as a Young Republican because I'm 38 and you age out at 40. I bet 85% of Young Republicans are pro-gay marriage.
Young people, period.
I'm
I
on
think
the
it's 90.
15% where I still, from my value system, believe that marriage is between a man and woman. And I have a gay brother.
I don't know how.
How about this?
I'm sorry. I don't believe. First of all, Christian conservatives that chaps my head when I hear that because a lot of these people have multiple marriages. So don't give me this bull about how you believe in Christ, but yet you believe in fornication and multiple marriages.
So that's and they're hypocrites if they are.
Okay. Well, yeah, most of them are.
At the same time, or
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Well, now that's a whole nother topic.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Some will stick their feet underneath the bathroom door.
My issue is understand where I come from, and understand it's not from a place of hatred. It's just because these people that I talk to, the ones that are like the Westboro Baptists, right? They're like, kill the gays, like that. There is not a single elected Republican in Congress right now that.
Oh, I don't know that blonde chick. What's her name? The nut job now that opens her mouth about every damn thing.
you might need to be more specific.
MTG?
Yes, that heifer.
No.
That heifer.
MTG, no, she's
What?
MTG.
Dennis, what do you
Taylor
think?
Greene.
She sucks.
So how about this though?
Yeah.
Do you support the idea that government shouldn't be involved in marriages at all?
You guys used to think not.
Listen, I do support that if that's what we do, right? Like if that's what the people want to be able to do. But my position is that from a value standpoint, I see truly the importance of having a marriage being defined between a man and a woman from just a value standpoint. And back in 2012 when we had the marriage amendment, I proudly wore my little button around the state fair, and people were looking at me all crazy, and they're like, "You're in an interracial marriage. How dare you?" I'm like,
70 years ago, that was illegal.
fine, but that's a whole different issue. My thing is, man and a woman can procreate, and a man can't, and a woman can't.
But love is love,
again,
as Kim said. That's true.
that's
What
fine.
is Steve and Frank? What is their marriage? How does that affect yours?
I didn't say they can't be together.
I just asked you a
I
question.
never said they can't have a civil union.
But I asked you along with every Republican since I voted for it. How does a gay marriage affect your marriage?
It doesn't.
Then you should
But
honor what you guys say when you want the government to stay out of the marriage business. Then get out of the marriage business. That's what I'm saying. You guys are so hypocritical. You love the government when you love the government, and you hate it when you hate it. You guys wanted government to stay out of the marriage business, except when it comes to gay marriage. Excuse me?
Well, not me.
Well, you're different.
I'm in both cases.
I'm for protecting the institution, and like I said, you can call it a million other things.
Divorce is at an all-time high.
That still doesn't matter.
So there's no such thing of the institution.
So that's my position. So hopefully anyone listening to this understands that I'm not coming from a place of hate.
You are not.
And I think that the majority of Republicans that have the same
They are.
because I've had these conversations
They
with
are.
these people.
They're haters.
Are coming from the same place.
No,
they're not like,
they're not.
Oh, these gay people are like
These are
destroying the earth or anything like that. Like,
Well,
that's crazy.
some of these people that you're talking about, I know them too. And I know so don't call them Christian conservatives because I know what they do behind closed doors, and I don't want to. We could get some great ratings by telling that. I could spill the tea, okay? So they're not Christian conservatives; they're hypocrites.
If they were, yes, I agree.
Oh, they are. Dennis,
Yeah.
What do you think about? AK and I were laughing about this a while ago. Democrats, I think, are getting smart. They are now starting to financially back MAGA candidates.
Well, this is not new in politics. We saw in 2018 in the governor's race that the Democrats came in and played in on the Republican primary.
Oh, did they?
They ran significant ads. They wanted Jeff Johnson to win.
Oh, really?
So
We did.
So that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that Donald Trump is being used, in this aspect, it's not a surprise because he was a controversial figure right now.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you know,
he was a great president, and people are trying to figure out if he's going to run again. He's trying to figure out if he's going to run again. But what I find fascinating about this is looking at who he truly supports, because sometimes he supports candidates right at the end of their campaign when he thinks they're going to win.
Sure, yeah.
And so I think a good chart would be about who he supported when
Early
and what
on.
length
Yeah,
of the campaign.
yeah. That's a good barometer.
That might be interesting. So
Yeah,
the thing
that's a good barometer.
Here I want to ask you, Jamar. So if you knew that the party had spent a bunch of money on not Elijah. Why was I going to say Elijah? On Dr. Shah, Neil Shah. Let's say that the DFL had like poured in like whatever, like
Millions.
$500,000 or something like that, right? And then he loses, so he doesn't even accomplish the goal of getting the radical on. Wouldn't you be like, damn, y'all could have given that money to these other candidates? And that's my question: is like, if you find out, because this is the Democrat Governor Association was giving money to the candidate in, I believe, Colorado, Illinois, California, and the Illinois candidate did win. The Colorado candidate did not win. So that's money that they like flushed in the toilet.
And Maryland.
Yeah,
And
Maryland just won last night.
Yeah.
The Cox guy or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So I would say both. I would straddle the fence, because I would say, yes, give some of that money to Democrats, but I would also think that that's pretty strategically smart, that you would pour money in to help the guy or gal that you want to win, that you know that Democrat can knock off, or someone's. So here's the thing. Like me, I don't vote Republican. We all know this.
Yeah, you don't.
But I love to work and support Republicans that have great ideas that affect our state and community.
But see, that is coming from a genuine place. You're not supporting the Republican because you want to torpedo their campaign to make it better.
I have.
I mean, well, if you have, okay, I don't like that. Here's my thing. Okay, you call me Pollyanna, start playing like the birdies chirping and everything.
Oh, should we cue Bette Midler right now?
Yeah, Bette Midler. My thing is, if you're going to actually donate money to a candidate, do it because you believe that they're the best. If not, then just
You've
keep
been in
your-
politics
keep your
way
money
too
out.
long to know that, come on, this is what they do.
Just because I'm
It's
in politics
dirty.
doesn't mean that I agree with it. I
hear
think it's duplicitous
Wow.
to try and fund someone.
But then that's the same thing when it comes to like an open primary. Then you don't like open primaries. You don't like open primaries?
No, I've never went and primaried against. Like I know Republicans do this. If it's a state where
Everyone
they got
does it.
locked in, they'll go over and they'll jump over and they'll just pick the worst candidate, and there'll be campaigns to do that. And that's what people are saying might have been happening of why they
In
have
2020.
now in the historic turnout that's happening, because there's a huge shift that's been going on. Like in Florida, Republicans have like a plus.
You
Like-
keep saying that.
Like
I hear.
500,000.
I do
voter
not
registration.
believe
About
that.
200,000. It's
200,000.
I
But
don't believe
people
any of
people
that.
are saying like maybe it's just Democrats flipping over just to screw the whatever.
Which is plus 500,000 from 2 years ago.
Right.
So so it's huge numbers. And is it the work of?
But DeSantis is underwater. Yes, it was his approval. He loses to Donald Trump in a head-to-head. He even loses
Okay,
to.
well, he's running for
he
governor
loses
right
to.
now.
He loses
He's
to. He
doing
loses
to us
to
you're
Joe Biden.
doing to us right now what we're talking about this show. You're trying to say that that the governor of Florida can't beat Trump because you want Trump to run.
You want
So you're
Trump to
doing the
run?
same
yes.
thing.
Because you know
I-
you'd be afraid of DeSantis.
No, I would not.
DeSantis,
I just think he'd be a more.
Nikki Haley,
he would be- we
2024?
talked about that last week, and that was my ideal, of course, because you guys don't support women, but that was my ideal. I think that would be a formidable ticket, but I still think we'd beat it because I think that folks have had
Joe and Kamala.
we just beat your guy by 7 million.
Okay.
Will Joe be the nominee in
Joe,
2024?
absolutely. I don't understand why. Donald Trump is 2 years younger.
You don't understand why?
Yeah.
Do you have a TV?
Yes.
Have you seen a
And I
video
seen
of him?
and I seen 4 years of a babbling, bombastic, racist bastard that sprayed.
I just throw in the racist.
Can I get in on
He
this?
is.
Can we do a steak bet, steak dinner
Yeah, yeah,
about
jump
the
in on the
Democrat
steak dinner.
nominee?
First of
Yeah.
all, I don't know
2024?
what year you guys think this is or what TV show that we're on, because if you think that the president of the United States, a Democrat, would embarrass himself by not running because I'm too old, I don't know what pass me what you're smoking, because again. And then there will be no one to primary him. Obviously, you don't do that in the same party.
No one's gonna prime him.
Unless you're Mike Pence, But no, of course he's running.
Okay, so we're clear. I get the field, and you have President Biden.
in a re-election, not just President Biden. And then
for re-election.
Absolutely. And then that
so I
day,
get the Democrat field.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's how many steak dinners?
3. So I just keep. I'm gonna be like 800 pounds after I collect all these damn dinners from you guys. Listen, we got a few more minutes here to go. Listen, here's the other thing though. I'm gonna tell you something. Please run Donald Trump. I told you that. Run Donald Trump. It's going to remind people of why they didn't want the guy 4 years ago. Or excuse me, not even 4. Well, but when it comes up.
When it comes up.
Yeah. 4 years, they'll be like, no, wait a minute. He's changed? No. Here's a guy who's still making illegal phone calls to witnesses. He's still witness tampering about a race that happened 2 years ago that he lost.
I mean, let's just be honest. Joe Biden might not be president by that time because Republicans are going to sweep the House.
Yeah, I know.
Take the Senate.
Do we have a
We're
dinner
gonna
on that?
impeach Biden because of his shady business dealings with his son in Burisma.
Yeah, I know. What are you going to do? Go through Benghazi again? You guys love, you won't get the power. See, this again. Yeah. I can't wait for November because I think now I was worried. I worried, well, because, you know, the incumbent party loses. Yeah. I was worried. But then you idiots went along and changed Roe v. Wade.
That's Supreme Court, man.
Yes, but it's conservative Supreme Court. There's only 4 Democrats. So I think that I meant to tell you that in the Wall Street Journal, you know that liberal rag? Yeah. They have a report that even women that are pro-life still do not like the ideal of Roe v. Wade.
Fine.
Roe v. Wade being overturned.
Let me ask you though, out of all the things that people are concerned about, do you know New York Times just came out with this list 2 days ago? Do you know what percentage of Americans give a hoot, and this is a month old, give a hoot about abortion? 1%. You know what percent care about high gas prices and inflation? 40%.
Well, I guess, but now gas is going way down. It's at a state.
Oh, it's about to go way back up.
How? Why? Why is it about to go way back up?
Because they're not going to get rid of the sanctions anytime soon. Okay. As long as the sanctions stay in place, gas prices are going to continue to go up.
Oh, because they're dropping now. For the last 30 days, they've done nothing but drop. So all of a sudden, they're just going to take
They have dropped, but they are going to go back up.
They will not.
Diesel is going up right now, and that's going
I drive a premium, a car that drives premium. Believe me, when I'm over, excuse me, and I'm going to do a shameless plug, because I don't normally do this. The Pump and Munch in Richfield on 63rd. I absolutely do. I'm talking to him this morning. On 63rd and Lindale, this is why. He's watching, damn it. On 63rd and Lindale, he has the cheapest gas. It's $4.29. $4.29. Go get you some and tell him that the guy with the gold tooth sent you.
And the guy with the Boys in the Hood shirt, too.
Yeah, this. Damn it, we sent you. Dennis. An hour goes fast. Especially when you're being so damn silly. I can't even remember my last question. What do you got coming up? Anything?
In regard to like,
I mean, like, you know, with some of your events that you got coming up, what's going on? Anything that we should have some folks supporting you or your website? You know, what's new for you?
So we have all sorts of new things going on. You know, some of them I can't talk about right now.
That's okay.
But you know, with this new pack that we have, that's really going to be very powerful and really help candidates. You know, with technology. So that's really that's an exciting thing. That's one thing I learned in my attorney general race is that candidates and people that are running for office aren't using technology in the best way. Yeah. And I figured out some things that I want to help some candidates with that, and we're really focused on that, and it's a lot of fun.
And not to mention, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm for hire too. But look. Dennis, so anything that you have coming up, please, you're going to come on every month now. So anything most exciting, don't hesitate. Even if it happens before your appearance, make sure you let us know. You're the greatest sponsor, you and Kevin and any other sponsor. Because remember now, why he's sitting here, people. He's sitting here because he's a sponsor. So you should be sitting in that spot too. You can yell at me, and I won't even cuss you out.
I didn't yell at you tonight.
You didn't.
No.
So you're a good sponsor.
There's only a little bit because you know Jamar must have hit himself.
I think I had too much Crown Royal or something. I don't know.
Something like that. If you guys did enjoy the show, please make sure to visit our Patreon account, become a Patreon subscriber, so we can have more conversations like this, have better conversations. By becoming a subscriber, it will allow you to contribute 100% to the show. This show is not free, so if you like what you see, consider becoming a subscriber. If you want to become a sponsor, that'd be even better, because becoming a sponsor means that you help actually, produce the show and help out Jamar and myself once we get enough sponsors, and then, but more importantly, we can actually have more than one episode per week.
Because I know
That'd be
y'all
awesome.
want to
It'd be awesome to have like
2 days a
episodes.
week or something.
So
You see.
please visit our
But wait a
Patreon,
minute.
hit our link tree.
Then I have to find outfits for those. I could manage it though.
You got don't you wear different clothes every day?
Well, I do, but I always try to make sure
you
that
have a wardrobe.
I'm on point when I
Okay,
come on.
gotcha.
So I'd have to. Damn, he's gonna make me work. Why don't you? Thank you, man. Thank you, Dennis, for coming
Thanks for
on.
coming on, man.
Great to
Can't
be
wait
here.
to see you next month. And again, anything happens, tell us Tenderoni we said hello. Okay.
Tell the Tenderoni.
Tell the Tenderoni. Well, you know where I got that from, right?
Yes, Bobby
Okay.
Brown or
All right.
something.
No.
What?
Who coined the phrase?
In Purple Rain or something?
Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, Michael Jackson.
Yes,
and-
Tenderoni. He
Yeah,
he
that's
coined
right,
that
that's
phrase.
right,
So
that's-
we'll tell you guys about it later. It's, you don't know about it. But help keep a political discourse alive by watching the show, by liking and sharing, and contribute as AK said. This is how this is how it used to be done with Tip O'Neill and Ron Reagan and those folks. Weren't too many black people back then. But that's okay. I'll be Tip O'Neill.
Alan Keyes, what you talking about, dog?
Alan who?
Alan Keyes. What's up, man?
Alan who?
Come on, man.
The guy that got killed by President Obama?
Oh, destroyed, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That carpetbagging guy?
Sure.
guy, okay.
No, he was great.
Dude, he's just like a...
And also, like, back in, like, the 60s, you had J.C. Watts, or 80s. I don't know when
Jesse
Watts-
Jackson, great speech. The 1988 presidential.
Which is the year I met him, which is why I have to tell you that we're going to have to tell you that story. He's one of the reasons I got inspired. I met him that year. That afro that year.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive, damn it.
Keep hope alive.
I know it right. Next week, y'all come back and join us. We're going to have another great guest.
Yeah, we have Ben Schwanke. He's going to be on next week, so please join us. I'm AK Kamara.
I'm Jamar.
Peace.